The two decisions that the patient needs to make is they need to decide, is this treatment necessary for them? And then they need to decide how they're going to pay for it. And what happens is we tried to blend these two things in one. And the dental office is a very stressful place. You are still going to present the total treatment cost upfront. So the patient is still going to know how much this will cost them, but they do not need to make the decision on exactly how they're going to pay for it that day. They just need to decide whether or not they want to do it. And if they decide they want to do it, great. You hold their spot more or less so that you can get going by just taking a $250 deposit. And then you offer them clear, manageable payment options. So whether that is in-house financing, third-party financing, anything else that you want to do, right? Half now, half at the start, half at the finish, whatever it is. That's the kind of frame. And the reason being is because the two decisions that the patient needs to make is they need to decide, is this treatment necessary for them? And then they need to decide how they're going to pay for it. And what happens is we tried to blend these two things in one. And the dental office is a very stressful place, right? So taking a stressful environment and making your patients decide all these things in one time and having to come up essentially and figure out how they're going to get the 5K or however much we're charging, it's very stressful and it's very difficult. Some patients can do it, but most can't. And so after the initial commitment, your patients have 1 month to decide on their payment option. And essentially when they come in to get the first set of trays, that is when they finalize that in terms of how they're going to pay for it, which option. They've already signed a treatment plan and a consent form saying that they will be paying for it. And they already put $250 down. And they know the different options because that's been reviewed with them. Then they go home and they talk to their significant other about how they're going to do it. And the reason why that works is because when the patient says that they need to talk to their spouse, think about for a second how that conversation goes. Let's say, if they even have the conversation, but your team followed up with them, so they actually have the conversation. Hey, babe, talked to my doctor. They said I need to do clear aligners. It's to help improve the health of my mouth. My teeth are breaking. They're kind of chipping. So it's going to be $5,000. I already put $250 on. How can we make this work? What money can we move around? What payment options can we do? But how can we make this work? So the way that works is, and this isn't even just me, this is other doctors, like pretty high producing doctors that have done a bunch of cases. They noticed that when you give them this option of $250 down and then essentially make a decision on how you pay the rest later, or put down $1,500 and then pay the rest later, that kind of thing, the number of patients that backed out of treatment was virtually the same.
If you're a dentist who wants to get confidence with aligners and you just don't know where to start, be sure to check out one of my free trainings.
The number of patients that said yes was way higher with a 250. And the reason behind that is because there will always be some degree of buyer's remorse. People get it, that's human condition. You can't change that. And I'll share exactly how to refund and all that stuff. But that's what was eye-opening is, yeah, some people backed out, but the number of more people who actually said yes and did it was way more than if we asked them to put $1,500 down. It's a psychological thing, right? If somebody is putting a little bit of money in, a little bit of skin in the game, they are now trying to figure out how they're going to pay for it versus them trying to convince their significant other about it. So the different payment options, like let's say the patient does not have insurance. And so this is where you could go with the easy start method. An easy start method could be something that goes for all of these, but you would do that. And then the remainder could be on a payment plan. I don't necessarily advise the payment plan unless you guys have really good relationships with your patients and you are good at collecting. That usually is a headache. A good one is always third-party financing. So yes, third-party financing, they do take a percentage of the amount, but you don't have to worry about collecting and you get paid from them. So that is always a good option, and it's a lot more flexible terms for the patient, so they can actually really spread it out over multiple years if they need to. Like it comes out to where the patient can pay like a couple $100 a month for 2 years with like no interest. So it becomes very, very easy for them. Again, yeah, monthly payment plan, or you can just have them pay in full. Some patients will do that, not all of them, but some of them will. If you're dealing with insurance, so there's going to be an insurance amount that is covered. It could be anywhere from like $1,500 to $2,000, depending on it. So that's the amount in the initial coverage, and the rest the patient is on the hook for, right? And so again, you would pick which option you're trying to, or you would kind of guide them down in terms of what they want to select. And then ways that you can kind of talk about this. So multiple ways you can go about it, but you just want to ask for some type of down payment, like I said, to reduce that financial friction. Something very simple that your team member can say is, hey, let's just get you started today for $250. And then you just let them know you get a couple weeks to figure out how you want to pay the rest. And that can be finalized on trade delivery day. So it's very clean, very simple. And so, yeah, this moves the pressure of having to think about all that from today to, hey, you got about you need a month, you need time, go ahead. You got the time. But this way it allows for doc to start working on your case, because that is going to take a couple weeks. And so as long as we're all in agreement there, everything's good. So that's where you could, having, I think, the conversation with Hardik and Devish of like, what can we do on the financial side to improve case acceptance? Because what we're doing right now, it's like there's a lot of pushback. And I think showing the initiative and like bringing solutions to the table, they might be open to you guys like testing it at an office. If not, then that comes with, right, being in a group, is there's only so much you can do. But I think it's worth at least having a conversation about it. I think they're aware of it. I just don't know if they've ever tried it. So I think it would be more of a conversation to see how they feel about it. Some people don't like that conversation, but like, think about all the vendors you've worked with and you signed something and you wanted to get out. Most of them don't give you your money back, or they give you, a portion, because there's just real costs that are there. So don't feel bad if you get in that situation. But again, I like to always give you guys options in terms of how to avoid all this. And the best way to avoid it is just be proactive. Make sure that you've got the people in the team in your corner. So that way, if these situations come up, they're not going to be, you are more often than not going to have patients who move forward and this is great. And they're going to be like, thank you for giving me these options. And it was very helpful to have this conversation with so-and-so, versus get me out of here. I want to back out type of thing. So this is in like an insurance breakdown here. Okay. So to kind of help wrap your head around what it looks like, right? Because there's how much insurance allows and how much you're charging and all that stuff. So let's say, so D8090 is the code that you would be submitting to your insurance. This code is a code that you can build to the patient for the difference in the coverage and essentially your fee. Okay. And so stick with me, I'll walk you through it. Let's say the UCR is $6K for aligners. A patient has $1,500 in ortho coverage, and your insurance contracted rate for the ortho is $3,000. So the insurance would get billed for $6,000. They're only going to pay $1,500. And then the patient gets billed for the remaining $4,500. The D8999 code is whatever you want it to be, because that is not getting billed to insurance. That is what you are charging the patient. And so that can be, call it lab fee, treatment planning fee, case setup fee. It's what you are getting paid for your time to work up the case, to get paid the amount that you are charging these patients.
But if you want something that's more structured with some implementation resources and support, then you might be a good fit for our course, Aligner Blueprint. It has helped hundreds of dentists generate over $9 million in aligners alone, and they've all been able to do cases with confidence. The links for all those are in the description below, so you can go ahead and check that out, or go to our website, clearalineradvisor.co, and that's where you'll find all this information. So if you found one nugget in this training and you found it valuable, you need to go watch this video that I made. We go deeper in these aligner concepts. I'll see you in there. So if you're enjoying this video or found it helpful in any way, I'd really appreciate it if you could just share it with one of your dentist friends. Just copy the link, drop it in your favorite group chat, or post it in one of your favorite Facebook groups or communities, and just share it. That's it. My mission at the end of the day is to make aligner education accessible to as many dentists as possible. And so by sharing this video, you're gonna help me move closer to this goal, and I really appreciate your support.